These are the best condo buildings in King West. In today's video, I'm going to break down what I believe the best buildings are in King West, Toronto for potential condo buyers. Now, I've been doing this long enough. I've been in almost every single building in the area. We have clients that have either bought or leased in these buildings over the last decade. And I want to share what I know about what's going on in this specific area. And this is probably going to become video one of maybe an ongoing series where we break down different neighborhoods in Toronto and tell you our favorite condo buildings. I appreciate you being back here on this channel. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like this video and get subscribed. You can also book a call with our team in the first link in the description. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually bringing in somebody else to chat with me about these buildings, and it is Amrit Walia. Amrit is a team member here at the Storey team. He's been working with us for the last 5 years, and I know he has extensive knowledge in this area as well, and a great YouTube channel that you should check out after you watch this video. So I'm going to bring Amrit in, and we are going to go back and forth. And what we're going to do, Amrit, is we've both picked 5 of our favorite buildings in King West for condos, but we didn't tell each other. So we're going to go back and forth and see why we like certain buildings. There might be some overlap, and this could be fun. And I will say, just before you give me building number 1 to everybody watching, like, this is just our opinion, right? Like there may be great buildings we don't talk about. This is just what we feel based on our experience. But why don't you get us started with building number 1?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me on your channel. So the first best building in King West, I feel, is 58 Wellington Street West. It's developed by Parallax Group, and this building is about like 11 years old, give and take. It's located at Portland and Wellington. It's not a high-rise, it's a mid-rise. So what I define a good building, in my opinion, is something that have a good floor plan, it's a mid-rise, not a super high-rise, so that it has a sense of community. So this check marks these boxes, so that's why I like 58 Wellington Street West.
And you've got the bar right beside it, so you can go to the
and the right, yeah, exactly.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't actually on my list, so that's a good start. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first building, and this will come as no surprise to people that watch this channel. It's going to be 75 Portland. 75 Portland was a freed building. The floor plans are big. You can, I think you've seen it as well. Like you can get some 1+ dens of that building. They're like 850 square feet.
Massive.
You can get some really good stuff. You got luxury stuff on the higher floors that has awesome floor plans. You got some of the penthouse stuff that even has like their own private pools up there and things like that. This is a building that's been there for a while. It's kind of stands out. Like it really wants you to know that it's there. So 75 Portland would be my number 1 pick. Let's go to you for your second.
Awesome. Next one is 111 Condos. It's 111 Bathurst Street. This building is about like, again, 10 years old, give and take. Again, solid floor plans. You've got exposed concrete over there, which adds character to the building. And it's located at Bathurst and King, which is right now at chaos because of Ontario Line construction. But once that's completed, I think this building has a lot of potential down the line, even further. And solid floor plans. My paramount is to look for floor plans so that good floor plans give you a great living experience, in my opinion, in a condo.
I'm seeing a theme with your buildings because Maverick Brew House is also below this building.
Yes.
And there's also a patio there where you can go and have a beer in the summer. So I'm starting to see a bit of a theme here.
Bars are important. You know?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. My number 2 pick is actually going to be 2 buildings I'm going to put together. And it's actually on that same corner. It's a 650 King and 95 Bathurst. And these are also freed buildings. Weirdly low maintenance fees versus other buildings in the area. Like, yes, they have a small little gym and they don't have a ton of amenities and all that kind of stuff, but you got the soft loft look. Location's great. There is going to be a bit of chaos, as you mentioned, over the next few years as they're building the Ontario line, but we have several clients that have bought in those buildings over the years. So it's like the one side that faces King Street is 650 King, and then you got 95 Bathurst on the Bathurst side. Very close to 111 Bathurst, which you just spoke about. Yeah. I really like these buildings. We had a client that we actually helped buy in here, I want to say like 2015 or something, and he still lives there.
Wow.
So it's like, it's one of those buildings where, of course, there's turnover, but we've had clients stay there maybe longer than other buildings because when they start looking at other options, they're like, why are the maintenance fees so much higher across the street than this building, right? So that's my number 2. Let's go to your number 3.
And also to add that amenities comes with an expense. The more the amenities, they're going to increase your maintenance fees. So that's what, like, I would look for a building which have less amenities
Yep.
and less fancier. Boring is good, in my opinion.
I agree. You don't spend
Yeah.
99% of your time in the, well, maybe some people do in the gym, but in the pool, it's like you spend it in your unit. That should be the biggest factor when buying a condo.
But honestly, I asked many of my clients just for feedback, how many times do you use amenities? They say maybe like 20, like not much, to be honest, what they had anticipated before getting into that building. So that's an interesting fact, or feedback I'd get from my clients.
That's a good point. So what's your number 3?
Number 3, I'm going to go slightly more towards east from this area. That is Theatre Park, 224 King Street West, Brad J. Lamb building. Solid building, great floor plans. Again, exposed ceilings, which is nice. It adds character to the unit. And it's a high rise, but again, it is managed well, in my opinion. So it's a solid building, according to me.
Yeah, I think people are, they have their opinions on Brad Lamb. He's been a podcast guest of ours a few years ago, and I thought he was one of the best guests we've ever had. I think he builds really good buildings, and I think there's some of the better, like Brad Lamb and Freed kind of built up King West. Like those are the two developers that really made it what it is today. Okay, so my number 3 is actually going to be 8 Charlotte Street. So it's right on the corner of King and Spadina. Not quite as far east as 224 King, but, you know, kind of the same area. This was a great golf building, and we've had so many people live there over the years. I think, at least of recording this, it might still allow Airbnb, which you can decide if that's something that you like or don't like. Beautiful amenity room, well-run building. I used to know quite a few people on the board, and even like people that work in our office, Amrit, that know all the buildings in King West. Several of them used to live at 8 Charlotte, and that probably tells you something. And great golf, I'd put up there as one of the better developers as well. So that would be my building number 3.
Amazing. Yeah, that's I've been in that building. It's a solid building, in my opinion, and I have clients living in that building too. But again, not one of my. But it didn't make the cut today. So.
Okay, so no overlap so far. That's interesting. All right, so what's number 4?
4th is 23 Brand Street, also called Quad Lofts. It's kind of, I think, it's one of the underrated buildings in the city. It's kind of tucked in at Spadina and King. That's the intersection it is located. It's about like 11 years old and developed by Crestford. It has a soft lob vibe to it, so which I like, and has a lot of character. Again, mid-rise, less people, less problems. You know, could be controversial, but that's the reality, what we see. And solid floor plans, in my opinion, in that building. It is in a busy neighborhood, but at the same time, it is tucked in from that busy or hustle bustle of King West, so which is pretty cool, I believe.
Most people wouldn't even know that building exists, because you'd walk right by that like corridor and you wouldn't know that the, I think, 19 and 23 brand are like both kind of tucked in there. And you can go across the street and get an expensive steak at Jacob's if you want.
Yeah, totally.
go to Other Ship on Adelaide or Nut Bar after to get your coffee. You got tons of options. So that was actually one of my like sleeper pick build. Yeah, there's a keg if you want a cheaper steak instead of going to Jacob's. All right, so my number 4 is 400 Wellington. And this is, again, a building that like nothing really comes up for sale in there. Like rarely are there. I think, I don't know, I've been in that building like 2 or 3 times ever. And it's not because it's not a good building. It's because like there's nothing to show people, because stuff rarely comes up for sale. And especially with the Well and all those buildings now open essentially across the street from it, and you look at what those are selling per square foot, I just look at 400 Wellington and go like, that's value. Like there's
so much difference
right there.
In terms of price per square foot, right?
I mean, what the difference is probably almost $400 or $500 a square foot
per square foot. That's insane. Like that's. And you're right opposite up from the Well, so
that's it. You
can
get
just walk right next
you get
door
everything that the Well gives you and has access to, but you're paying legitimately 33% less potentially for your property across the street.
And more efficient layouts, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's a little bit older, right? Where when they were building those ones, they weren't all just being sold to investors. Okay, number 4 for you.
18 Stafford. That's an old building, 16-year-old building, but the older it is, the better layouts they have. And they don't have concierge or any amenities of that sort. So as I said, boring is better, less fancier is better. Maintenance fees is super reasonable in that building, and again tucked in just west of Stanley Park. Not many people I've noticed know this building, because from outside, if you look at it, it doesn't look any nice, but from the inside, you'll have a very good living experience. You have a peninsula style kitchen, and overall great floor plans, in my opinion. There.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good one. I've sold a few in that building over the years, but you're right. No one like really talks about it. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Kind of like on the border of like, is it King West or is it getting close to Liberty Village? But it would fall in the King West category.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so my number 5 will probably be the least surprising to you, Amrit, because we talked about this a lot. It's Waterworks. It's 505 Richmond, not too far walk from 23 Brant. This was a building that I think it's, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old now. There's rarely any identical floor plans in the building. The lobby, I would argue, at least in King West, is like, it's cool, right?
I think
like
in the city, it's one of the best lobbies in the city, I believe.
They've done such a good job. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. When Waterworks sold pre-construction, they made purchasers put 25% down versus the regular 20 like other projects, and they didn't allow assignments. So when they sold that building, even though that was sold in like 2019, a lot of people that were buying it were because you couldn't assign, it got more end users actually purchasing it. Now, of course, there's rentals in there. Of course there is. But I just feel like it's a building that of the, let's call it like new buildings built after 2015, I feel like this is the one that's the most non-investor focused and just owner occupied. I've had close friends that have lived there. I've had clients that live there. They have some really, really nice units on the higher floors. You're allowed barbecues. Building, which is like, there's not that many condos in Toronto that allow barbecues, like gas barbecues.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
no, not
propane,
many. Only
propane.
Propane, yeah. Bradulam has they have
Quite a
gas
few.
barbecues. They have gas hookup though over there.
Right.
But also just to add to this building, this is one of the newer building, which is solid building. Typically, we see newer buildings; they're not the best. And when I say not the best, is they don't have the best layouts. They are like cookie cutter condos. But this is opposite of that, which is nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Is there any other like sleeper pick or honorable mention that you'd add to your list?
I wanted to add 95 Bathurst, to be honest, but you already spoke about that.
All right.
But that would be the 6th condo, which I would add to this list.
Got it. Yeah. I had 224 King on my list as well, which I didn't say because
amazing.
you said it. And I don't know, there's like 66 Portland and 20 Stewart. They're technically different buildings, but they share an underground parking area. And they were both built within 2 years of each other, both by free developments. Really, really, again, kind of like when you talked about the Brant buildings, like they're tucked away 1 street back from King Street. Yes, Ruby Soho is directly behind you and all the other stuff going on King. So it will get a little bit loud at certain times, but we've had quite a few clients that have lived in those buildings and still to this day still own in those complexes.
Yeah. Yeah, I call these buildings 19 Brant, 23 Brant, 20 Stewart. Like these are kind of speakeasy condo building in my opinion. Not many people know about these.
That's funny. That's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, me and Amrit want to know, you just watched us go back and forth on what our favorite condos are in King West in Toronto. This is just our opinion. Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Is there something that we're just completely missing that you're like, you guys don't know what you're talking about? This is the best building. Let us know in the comments below. Amrit, I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me today. And
thank you.
I think we're going to make this a little bit of a series. So I might have you back and we'll do a few other neighborhoods and start picking our favorites as well. So thank you everybody for watching and listening.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.